So two things to say. So if you're gonna listen to anything, listen to this. First of all, I messed up my, well, I thought I was gonna be streaming earlier than I thought, but the stream is still scheduled correctly. So basically for tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow as we get sick task scars and random item stats. I'll say this again when we get to the timestamp, but the second thing is that I am doing a thing right now, and depending if the person who communicated with me is listening to this, then just know I'm trying something out right now. It's gonna be in a separate video, and I'm just making sure of things. Also, I should have asked a few more questions, but it's fine. So, as we get, what scars, I think? I was gonna say scars. I swear it's not because I think scars is easier. But we're gonna do this Modpack video, and then we're gonna see. So if nothing else, oh, I'll just say it when we get to it. So, by the way, as we get into Zectaz, Scars, Random Item Stats, Custom Character, I scheduled a stream, and it is correct. I just thought it was going to be earlier than I thought, because I thought I was recording on, basically, Thursday. I thought this was Thursday. This video should be coming out on Thursday. Light, Strength, Charisma, every single stat, well, not every single stat check. Second encounter, and then maybe a second mystery. And the second thing is, and you might feel the difference here, is that I am experimenting with something, but I will actually make a separate video for what I was planning to do here, and I'm trying to be very careful, even though I took a look here and there, so everything should be okay. We're not doing anything weird, but just gonna be super sure. And in that case, I should have asked the question between today and the next video. But if anything else, I might do quote unquote, if not a series, then a special that will come out after my first World of Horror video, which will usually be Modpack Mysteries as we actually get Kana, Recluse, Household Hell, Frogs, and Taxi. That's going to be interesting. I definitely want to take Recluse after Kana here. But otherwise, I think the thing you might see and or observe the most is that when I load into World of Horror after starting on, well, assuming I survive this run, you're going to notice a longer load time. I think that makes sense to be normal. But anywho, and I'll go through things. I might as well talk about it while we're here. So, before I really concentrate on off-topic stuff, let me concentrate on autopiloting a bit closer to not correct. Although we start with the weapon, Zectaz here is going to slap. Actually, no, because we have Zectaz, we want to just move on. So, yeah. So, off-topic stuff. Well, it's not off-topic because it has to do with World of Horror. Basically, the biggest quote, and this was a few years ago, things can change, but I don't think weird things are being done. And in fact, you might have even seen it there. Do I have to enable math, by the way? You can't do it here, can you? I don't think so. Yeah, because it doesn't show the math behind the stat rolls. I'm going to do this just to see. And again, if the person who communicated with me is watching this here, usually I have extra math on, but with the change I've made, not change, it's not a change, with the additions I've added, you can't see that. That's one of probably few things that you'll notice. But again, this is what I mean by I'm experimenting with something. I obviously know, because I've read through some documentation, and oh my goodness, 76%. I read through the documentation, and no base files are being modified. Let me just complete what I was trying to say earlier before I was interrupted by myself. So, Panstat specifically said a few years ago that as long as, specifically, the biggest no-no is touching the data.win file, which I think is the big file that pretty much houses all the stuff for World of Horror, which you should not touch, basically. Don't touch that file. But, aside from, I mean, obviously there are probably other terms and stuff, but I was trying to look, and I think someone asked, specifically, someone, I'm being very vague here because I don't want to just put words in people's mouth and quote and direct quote if it wasn't a direct quote, but there is nothing, there should be nothing, well, the specific word is that additions cannot, well, not additions, but there's no endorsement of anything that you might add to World of Horror. Again, I'm being very particular with my words here because these are actually the specific words and quotes. And I'll mention it when we get to the next video. That way, but I have to guarantee that what's happening, I mean, I've already said that I'm doing something now, so, but I'm certainly not touching the data.win file, and certainly no base files to World of Horror are being modified or changed in, at least to my knowledge. And if they are, and if there is something wrong, I would like to be let known of that. But I'm pretty sure the correct steps were taken to not step on anyone's shoes. In both ways. We'll just leave things at that. By the way, Pain. Now we did get mad. Oh, I think I know why. It's because so that was a base event. Let's see what happens in a modified event. This is another base event. So okay, so extra math will appear in base events, but the addition looks at custom files, which are not obviously base World of War files, which contain events, characters, so on and so forth. But as we lose a bunch of reason here, and now I'm kind of worried about surviving at all, we need to take some reason, but I don't know if we're going to survive. I guess we're going to find out. So, yeah, so if we find a custom event, are there any custom events in the apartment? I'm sure there are, it's just that they're not as many. And then so another thing to say, just really quickly, again, I'll explain this more when the actual video about what I'm talking about here comes out. There are events, and I think apartments, and I forgot the second location. Anywho, I did take a look at things myself, though. I can say that much, but we'll see what happens. Also, I was curious to look at something, but I did not look before I recorded here, so I guess we're gonna see what happens. This recording is also in real life. In terms of real life, also that's right. I have Kana and we're on scars, so we're gonna take no damage. But what was I trying to say? Oh, I wanted to look at something, and yeah, in real life, I'm recording this later than I expect because, and it's not because of anyone related to World of War or anything. It's literally because of me, because I was doing some game dev stuff. But that's completely off topic. But also, I'm not swerving. It's just I have to concentrate. I have to prioritize things in life that would probably benefit me the most, and you'll see basically when I release a game. But anywho, not Phantasm. It's Household Hell. Yeah, we take Taxi next. Which is different from... Oh, I forgot the name, I'm sorry to that mod creator. Anywho, moving on. Keep in mind that we are on Zectast, so we actually do want to take quick thinking. I almost made a mistake there. Now, if you get flashbacks and we hit 42% Doom, we're dead, but still, we might as well do our best to... do our best. Also, yeah, I need to be watching out for custom events just so I can see if extra man... I'm sure that's a toggle, but I don't know if it's a toggle per Ito file or if it's something you can toggle in general. In this edition. I'll call it an edition for now. Because it's not modifying or... to my knowledge, it's not modifying or changing any base World of Horror files. Unless I'm wrong. Please let me know. But if it is, I would hope that it's not changing anything that is sensitive to basically the official and or legal terms that Panstats or anyone involved like Sybrid Games, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, have put forth for World of War. But from an ethical standpoint, again, aside from just direct quotes from, say, a developer, publisher, anyone involved in the game, even if someone who worked on BGM and whatnot, you do want to follow those. But otherwise, there is kind of an ethical... I think as a game developer myself, or let me see, I guess wannabe game developer, because I haven't really released anything of note that I care about, but basically, if someone were to mod my game, aside from I would tell you when there's something that you cannot legally do. For example, and this is not a direct example, but I think a lot of people who know at least a little bit, as we take the cigarettes here, about basically using plugins, mods, so on and so forth, knows about, I think it's, now I would need to check, but very base code, like things that have to do with code. Also, yeah, no math, so that's something to note. But I'm not saying that's a positive or negative, but it's something to note, basically, when I'm using this edition. But, what is it? It's something, I know it has to do with MIT, but let me see. I know I'm doing clickety-clacks while we're going through, but it's not like it really matters. We're not doing much anyway. Funny enough, I think we're going to go through Taxi here. I know we're taking all damage, but we have Kana and we're on Scars. Again, I can really autopilot playing World of War. But... you can understand what I mean. Basically, either it's coding fragments, plugins, files, whether they're DLL files, so on and so forth, hey, as it turns out, they're frequently used. I would think we went the wrong way, by the way. Are frequently used by video games in general as well. Whether it is, usually as it pertains to, I'm using big words, but it's really simple it should be really simple to explain. Whether you're using, like, say, we'll just say game engine maker, RPG maker, so on and so forth. These game engines, or what do you want to... There's a specific term. I'm going crazy. Hey, so-called game dev, by the way. You're using very general pieces of code or files that will help basically make the game run better, just to try to simplify things. So, with that being said, if there are terms that have to do with some of these, and usually there aren't too strict terms, but that's why it's important to look here and there. Also, we have -4 power. Is that correct, by the way? Anywho, I think that's because, really, I must have just autopiloted succeeded a lot, because I'm pretty sure there are at least multiple versions of this quote-unquote enemy. That's all I can say, as I swing this razor out the car door, I guess. We nearly died there, by the way, just from autopiloting. I think we have a curse as well. We do. Which one do I want to get rid of? Probably suicidal? Yeah, traumatized is just max reason. Although we do have scars, doesn't really matter as much, so... Should have gotten rid of that earlier. I was autopiloting, though. But basically, if there are, say, plugins or mods that you were using, if someone puts in either legal or otherwise, it doesn't even have to be, like, legalese in a document, but usually it is. If they say not to do this, this, and this, then you have to follow. But otherwise, as a game developer, if I put out anything, I wouldn't really say much. In fact, I think there is and I'm quoting here because it has to do with something that actually happened. Wow, 90% doom in our 4th mystery. Anywho, Power of Flood and Kana. But there was recently, let's just say, I think it was a movie, right? A movie that came out, and someone basically high up put out a version on the internet. Aside from the fact that I think Guillermo del Toro... I'm going crazy, I don't remember names at the moment, but you get the point. There are movies out there that are just sitting out there, let's just say. Whether you're sailing high seas or they're just actually out on platforms to watch, which is a pretty cool thing. And there is some give and take with that. I think both sides have their points, but it really is a situation-by-situation basis. In the case of World of Horror, again, we have to follow what is said, basically, because it's literally the thing. Also, that multiplies a bottle of sludge. I think that can be fixed with this edition, funny enough, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it does, from what little I've seen. I can talk a little bit about that, assuming we don't die quickly, but yeah, there are things out there, and it depends, and if it depends, it just depends. I mean, there's not much else to say. I have to be general here, because unless I can think of a specific example, which I can't at the moment, then there's not really much else to say. But basically, to rewind all the way back to... Wow, did we not trigger Zectast at all yet? Anywho, yeah, I'm pretty sure nothing weird is being done, and if so, I have no knowledge of it, and I'm not saying that just because I'm trying to be safe. I'm literally saying that because I don't know. But again, what little research I've done, and it's like literally little research, like 10% of my time with this edition was research on whether or not it's okay, and I feel like it is, but I guess we'll see. In the end, it's not certain, but I feel certain that it's okay. And if it's not, well, again, someone could probably let me know. Then I can not do that. Might as well be straightforward about it. There's no reason, aside from the fact that I'm being vague about what the edition, quote-unquote, I'm talking about. But anywho. But I think that's the biggest standout so far. I mean, yeah, to explain a little bit, what's happening is I basically added something to World of Horror based on what someone else has... asked me to look at it. I'm trying to be because I don't know the exact terms, basically. I keep saying terms, but there's better words to mention. It's just that I'm trying to also focus on the game, which is my fault, and multitask here. But basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm ready. I mean, making do that there's proper credit here and there, and also saying what I can and cannot. Again, I'm leaving things anonymous for now until I have the okay, essentially, and I really don't like to talk like this, but again, I'm just trying to be very safe for everyone involved. Which goes both ways, whether it's the developer of World of Horror, or publisher, or anyone involved with, like, the graphical assets, so on and so forth. And just to say this now, I have not seen anything that's in progress, or basically placeholders for the base World of Horror game, because I feel pretty confident as we roll a 12 on luck. Hope that's not an ominous premonition, but... yeah, I have not seen any. No, I'm pretty sure no base files have been really modified or changed. And if nothing else, nothing has been looked into. And I certainly don't know anything myself. Like, I'm saying that, like, just... I'm not trying to be vague there. I have not seen anything in World of Horror's base files at all. This is literally based on at least secondhand accounts from, if not anyone involved with the game itself, or hearsay, basically. Wow, we just crush this run. Even though I didn't, well, that being said, we had Kana and Scars. That's a, if nothing else, to talk about base World of Horror, even though we're using a bunch of custom content. Hold on, I need to make sure we survive though. 3 stamina, 3 reason because Ictast. We don't have a light source, so that's 3 reason. We do pass the charisma check, so we can take a point in knowledge and not rest as much, but it shouldn't really matter because we have enough doom and bleh to survive. So off we go. But yeah, to mention base World of Horror, if you have Kana or if you have the mystery eels and you're on the Scar's backstory, you don't need to worry about encounters, which are a majority of the damage. Which, yeah, encounters are, yeah, that's correct, pluralize, plural. Encounters are a big part of you taking damage in World of Horror, at least in my opinion. Obviously, if you're using custom events and custom mysteries, as some might do, with or without this edition, I forgot, I was going to say roommate, that can change. You can basically add in a bunch of dangerous events, and therefore Scars means less, and having Kana means less, even though Kana is still nice. So, yeah, not really much else to say. Yeah, but taking Kana, their presence is very much appreciated, and their mitigation effect for damage is really, really helpful. But yeah, if nothing else, today or tomorrow, because I plan to stream already, so I want to just stick by that stream. The stream is more for just to get comfortable streaming again, because it's been, I think, I haven't streamed since February. So, yeah, not really much else to say. If you have anything to say, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, you can always DM me on Discord. You can reach out to me through my business email for more business-related things, but also anything related to the channel as well. That's why I have a business email, and you can see that email on my channel. But other than that, not going to take up much more of your time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!